subscribe, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos, man. I want to thank everyone that does watch and share my videos. You guys are the absolute best. So without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get into my Super Bowl pick. We are here, guys. All right, last game of the season. It's over after this. We go into the off season. But so let's go ahead and get right into it. But whoa, wait a second, man. Wait 1 second. Before I talk about my Super Bowl pick, I need to talk about my picks for the conference championships, man. I made them, so let's go ahead and get right into them. So first game I covered, Packers at Falcons. I took the Falcons in this game, man. Whew. Got myself a win, okay? Packers 21, Falcons 44. Packers just had a rough time getting things going, and the Falcons just absolutely roared forward, man. These guys put up points. They did every single thing that they needed to do in that game to win, okay? Julio Jones had a big part in that. He had 9 catches for 180 yards, also had 2 TDs. That dude was a beast. Freeman was a beast as well running the football. So shouts out to the Falcons fans. I chose the Falcons, got myself a win. They're going to the Super Bowl. So shouts out to the Falcons and their fans once again. Next game I covered, Steelers at Patriots. I took the Steelers in this game, man. That got me a loss, okay? Steelers 17, Patriots 36, man. Listen, it was just classic Patriots football. I mean, they just made it look, you know, just effortlessly easy, man. They just kept it rolling. Brady was 32 of 42, 384 yards throwing the ball. He also had 3 TDs. It was just like, they just kept rolling, man. The Steelers just couldn't get things clicking. They just could not get stuff clicking, and it was just a tough day for them, you know. So shouts out to Pats fans. You know, you guys got yourselves a win. You guys are going to the Super Bowl. I chose the Steelers again, man. Got myself a loss. So let's go ahead and get into my Super Bowl pick now, guys. Listen, conference championships, those things are over. That's in the past now. I'm ready to move forward. So let's talk about the Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As we know, the Super Bowl is the New England Patriots at the Atlanta Falcons. For me, the Patriots have to get pressure on Matt Ryan. You know, they've got to find a way to get him down. You know, they've got to run the football effectively as well. They've got to dominate the time of possession, because this Falcons offense is potent, all right? You've got to take Julio Jones out of the game. You have to. I know that that's what the Pats kind of do. They take away your number 1 weapon and make you go elsewhere. But let me tell you something. Mohamed Sanu and Gabriel, those 2 guys are no slouches, all right? No slouches at all. Freeman, dude, the way that Freeman is running the football, not only Freeman, but the other back they have as well, you got to gang tackle. You have to get to the football and get that guy down. He is a tough runner, man. Once he gets to that second level, he gets extremely violent. A violent runner. He'll run right through you, man. He refuses to go down. You have to find a way to get to the ball when this guy has the ball and get him down. You've also got to put up points, man. You've got to put up points because their offense is so potent. You want to be able to keep up with them. You also want to keep them out the end zone, too. You've got to get Martellus Bennett the football. I think he has favorable matchups against this defense. You got to get him involved. Get Edelman moving around as well. See what you can do with him. You also got to keep Tom Brady upright. They have, you know, guys that can get after you, pass rushers that can get right into you. And the Patriots line, even though, you know, it's got its pieces, you know, they've been able to survive and move guys around. Hey, they've got to get these guys blocked, because they will be coming with their ears pinned back, and they will be trying to destroy you. Let me tell you, man. These guys are serious business. Atlanta's defense has gotten better going into the playoffs. So now I want to go to Atlanta's side. I want to talk about them, talk about what they've got going. Man, listen, Atlanta cannot get crazy and start turning the football over. You know, we've seen it against other teams that play the Patriots. When you give the Patriots a chance, whether it's 1 or 2, you know, we've seen 3 turnovers against them before. You give them those chances, those 1 or 2 turnovers, man, they turn them into points somehow. You know, they figure out how to maintain drives off those turnovers as well. You cannot turn the ball over against them. Special teams, you got to make an impact there. I've talked about this multiple times with the Pats, that, you know, offensively, defensively, they play fairly well, but special teams this year has kind of been herky-jerky, where we've seen the fumbles. We've seen, you know, people be able to get kind of big return yardage on them as well. So you've got to take advantage against every nook and cranny that you can against the Patriots. Anything you can get, you have got to take. And special teams definitely has a lot of hidden yardage there, a lot of field position. Even though the Falcons' offense is good, you always want to put yourself in good field position, and that is a way that you can attack the Patriots because they're kind of vulnerable there. You know, you also got to put up points in the red zone as well. Patriots are solid defense as far as red zone. They're bend but don't break. They'll give you a lot of yardage between those 20s, but once they get down to that 20 and you talk about they slow guys down and they will keep you out of the end zone. You've got to produce. You've got to put up points in there. And kind of a final thing is, as I spoke about with the Pats, they're going to try to take away Julio Jones. Mohamed Sanu, Gabriel, those guys have to have a significant impact in the throwing game. I think this is going to be a game where we see Mohamed Sanu come out and really show you, you know, hey, you want to double Julio, you want to try to take him away from out of the game, you want to try to put your safety over there, no problem, because I'm going to go to work today. And that's a guy that I'm looking forward to seeing what he gives them, you know, on Super Bowl. So with all of that said, guys, this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a fun one to watch, but I am taking the Atlanta Falcons to win this game, man. I am. They are rolling into this game, and they're hot. I do think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tight going into mid-fourth quarter, but I think the Falcons are going to be able to put up just 14 points. You know, I think after they come out after the half, they put up 14 points and walk away with the game. But I do think it's going to be tight going into the half. After the half, they're able to sort some things out, put the 14 up, and boom, they're done. So that's what I'm choosing, man. I have the Atlanta Falcons again winning the Super Bowl. So now that's all over. This is the favorite part of the show for a lot of my fans. I know I'm a big-time Jets fan, even though I show no bias here. It's time for Jets talk, guys. It's time to talk about the Jets, okay? Because we're not in the playoffs. We're probably a good maybe 2 years outside of really being able to make the playoffs as of now, looking at the roster. So I want to address some concerns. And today, you know, I've talked about the offensive coordinator spot. I've talked about the head coaching spot. I've talked about our quarterback situation. I want to go to our running back situation. You know, we just hired John Morton, which was a wide receivers coach for the Saints. We also hired Stump, who's going to be our running backs coach because we fired Ship last year. So now, you know, things are kind of starting to form. You can see kind of an offensive, you know, mindset being brought in and what we might run. Because Morton is supposedly a really big fan of the West Coast offense. And so when you look at our backs fit the West Coast offense. Because the West Coast offense, you basically have to have a back that, you know, can move in space, get kind of shifty, also has to catch the football, be able to catch the football and make plays off that way as well. And we have that. Matt Forte, who is a guy that's an aging veteran, kind of broke down a little bit towards the end of the season, had a sprained MCL, wasn't running as well as he did earlier in the season. But then you look right behind him, boom, you got Bilal Powell, a guy that really showed big-time potential this year when he was allowed to start and wasn't being mismanaged by Todd Bowles, and really shows you that he can do all things you know, that an offense would call on you to do. And he's the guy that honestly didn't start out the season as a starter, but a lot of fans, including myself, are screaming for him to be the starter next year. He should definitely be the starter going into next year. We should definitely give this guy a chance and see what he brings because, you know, from the Niners game to all the other games after he was allowed to start, this dude just showed absolute potential, game-breaking potential to be able to put up points, and especially what he can do for a young quarterback as well, catching the football out the backfield, you know, just being shifty, making plays, breaking tackles. I mean, this guy can do it all, so he should definitely get the start next year. Then you look behind them, and it's kind of question marks. Kyrie Robinson would be the third down back. Now, here's the thing with Kyrie. He's a tough runner. He's very physical, but let me tell you something. This guy broke his leg again. He cannot stay healthy. His actual first carry after coming back from the broken leg this year, he fumbled. I think we've got to move on from him this year. I think when you look at the two backs that we have now, Matt Forte and Bilal Powell, you ask yourself, okay, these two guys, they're shifty guys. You know, Matt Forte isn't as fast as he used to be, and he damn sure isn't as fast as Bilal Powell, but, you know, he's still a back that's smooth, that runs very well. Okay, we've got a speedy back kind of in Bilal Powell. He's shifty. He can make plays. Where's our beat-em-up back? Where's our guy that's going to come in and be that bowling ball? You know, where's the guy that's going to absolutely bash the defense, be kind of like that Brandon Jacobs, that short yardage back that just destroys you? We don't have one of those at all, and I think that's what we're missing in this backfield. That's what we're going to be missing out of this trio. So I expect the Jets to to address that in the draft. Because as of right now, I'm just saying, if they don't move on from Matt Forte and cut him in the offseason, they keep him, you've got to address that position. Now, do I think you need to go high because we do have the 6 picks? I know a lot of fans are calling for Fournette. I know a lot of fans are calling for Cook as well. Those are 2 very talented backs. But I think with all of the needs that we have on our team, I think going running back that high wouldn't be in the Jets' best interest. I just don't think so. I also believe that you can pick a back later on in the draft and still get great production out of them. You look at Duke Johnson, who was drafted later on in the draft for the Browns. He's really shown up for them. Carlos Williams, a guy that absolutely was with the Bills a couple years ago. This guy was drafted in like the 4th round. We got to see him, front and center, run us over time and time again, over and over and over again. And this was a guy that was a late round draft pick as well. There's also guys that are undrafted. There's a guy with the Raiders, Rashard. This guy came out of nowhere and really produced when Latavius Murray was injured. Him in Washington, out there, in Oakland with the Raiders, really were just running the football fairly well. And these guys, simply came out of nowhere, not high draft picks at all. So I look for the Jets to do that. I'm also a big fan of finding combinations. There's always different back tandems that you can put together and bring in, and they'll produce for you as well. We see that throughout the league, where there's just not one feature back. There's a couple backs that they find, and they put them together, and boom, you got a combination that's explosive. So that's what I look for the Jets to do. Find a combination, maybe draft a guy late. There's also a guy, Wild, that's on our roster as well. He might be a guy that we could think about, seeing what he has. Maybe we bring him into camp, have him battle for that 3rd spot, but he's not really a banger either. I'm looking for a big back that's absolutely going to just destroy people in short yardage and be that guy to hammer the defense down. And I think that we can find that later on in the draft or even later on in free agency. So I look for the Jets to address it that way. But I think our running back position group there, again, if we keep Matt Forte and Bilal Powell, I think it's fairly solid. Fairly solid compared to some of the other positions group that we have on this team. So again, I'm looking for us to address that need, either in the draft or even after the draft, finding guys that are unsigned. Free agency is a possibility, but it depends on who's going to be out there. Right now, a lot of backs are still shaking loose. But I expect the Jets to kind of address that later on and find that big bruising back to take everybody on. So with that said, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching, man. Comment, rate, subscribe, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think about the Super Bowl. Give me your picks down below. Also, hey, talk about your teams, man. What's going on with your teams? I know some of you guys, aren't Jets fans at all. Some of you guys, teams are trying to find their way going down this road in free agency in the offseason and draft coming as well. Tell me what you guys think about your teams in your offseason too, man. So let me know down below. We can go back and forth. And as always, guys, hey, Super Bowl's coming up. Have a good time watching it with your family, man. Be safe out there. A lot of people zooming around, getting a little crazy. Just, watch yourself out there and enjoy your times, guys. And as always, man, have a good day. Peace.